Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week Lighting Talk. Hope every one of you are safe and healthy. My name is Gerardo Grise, and today I'm going to talk about QA at a greater scale. And by this, I refer to a process that is larger than the development of software, but I'm going to do this following the steps of the software development life cycle as an example. Hope you enjoy. The aviation industry. In the early 2000s, European Union started to charge extra taxes for four-engine airplanes in order to put pressure on aviation companies to reduce fuel consumption, so the largest airplane models like the Boeing 747 and the Airbus 380 are slowly disappearing from the skies. Given these backgrounds, the aviation giants Boeing and Airbus started to compete for the twin engine dominance on the market. The goal: more fuel efficiency and less pollution in the air. So, our example starts with the product management. As leader in the industry, Boeing has sold over 10,000 737s across the world. In 2010, following by the Airbus announce of the creation of the Model A321neo, Boeing decided to compete in the medium-haul flights by creating the 737 MAX. So for the 5 next years, Boeing priority would be to create this aircraft. Second step, the design. The main changes consisted on adding bigger engines, allowing more air into the turbine, and place it closer to the wing in order to reduce air friction. These engines are bigger, therefore heavier, and along with more aerodynamic winglets, also the materials for build the plane were optimized to be lighter and more resistant, and the life expectancy of the airplane raised from 20 to 25 years, flying on an average of 15 hours per day. That means over 136,000 flight hours, 36,000 more hours than the current models in the market. So, step 3, the development. Once design is completed, the next step is to build 4 airplanes that will be tested before being sold. For a model that is being already manufactured, the typical time takes 20 months to complete. These include ensemble of exterior parts, mobility for the wings and winglets, wiring, assembly of interiors, and painting. So, for a test model, is faster, since no interiors or painting are needed at this time. So, step 4, QA. So after testing everything on simulator first, making all the required calculations, and assembling the prototype, on January 29, 2016, the first flight of the 737 MAX was successfully completed at Boeing headquarters in Seattle, Washington. Of course, several test flights were completed afterwards. Planes are tested on windy conditions, high and low pressure conditions. Even they are flown to Antarctica to test them on sub-zero conditions. If you like, you can follow this link to see the recap of the Boeing 737 MAX first flight. So, step 5, release to production. Once all changes, let's say bugs, were in place, Boeing proceeded to accelerate the production lines to produce 4 airplanes in 1 month timeframe. So, on May 22, 2017, the first commercial flight owned by an airline was successfully completed, and around 400 airplanes were delivered worldwide. Until here, there's a perfect example of efficient decisions taken by all stakeholders in the Boeing 737 MAX project. In only six years, Boeing broke all aviation records by delivering this aircraft. Hundreds of airplanes were ordered, Even this model was the first airplanes to have an interatlantic route due to its efficiency on fuel consumption. So, what happened next? On October 29, 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 took off from Jakarta, Indonesia. 12 minutes after takeoff, the plane crashed into the Java Sea, killing all 189 passengers and crew. On March 10, 2019, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 took off from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. 6 minutes after takeoff, the plane crashed outside the city, killing all 157 people aboard. At that time, there was not certainty of the cause of these crashes. Both flights were operated by the 737 MAX airplane. Never before in aviation history, a newly developed aircraft caused fatal accident on less than a year of operation. So, which was the cause? Remember the bigger engines? Well, the placement of these engines close to the wing and moved forward caused the gravity center of the plane to move forward as well. So when the plane is taking off, the aircraft itself is struggling to maintain the nose up without losing speed. The condition of both accidents were the same: humid, hot air. The wind currents prevented the plane to keep the nose up, and in consequence, the plane crashed, falling nose forward. So, which were the errors? First, Boeing noticed that the gravity center of the airplane was moved slightly to the front of the cabin, so they decided to introduce an automatic compensation software program called the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS. 2. In order to avoid thousands of hours in training, Boeing decided to keep the same cockpit as previous models, so the MCIS would be autonomous. If there was not enough speed to keep the plane elevating, the system would automatically try to lower the nose of the plane. And 3. Leaving pilots unaware of these software changes on the planes. The MCIS would prevent the airplane to lose speed, but the problem was that the pilots were unaware of this function. The black box analysis of these flights stated that the pilots were caught off guard. While they were trying to keep the plane elevating, the MCAS system took control of the toggles and caused the fatal accidents. So, which is the current situation? All Boeing 737 MAX around the world are grounded. Production at Boeing factory has completely stopped as for January 2020, and more than 1,000 orders has been cancelled. So, the lessons learned. No matter the time invested, make sure all the parties are aware of the product characteristics. Don't rush the production if there's no certainty of the final result. And 3. Assume the cost by delaying instead of the cost of repairing the damage. No matter the industry, the key is the transparency of the work being done. As software developers, lives don't depend on the quality of our work, but at all levels there are similarities for the development of a product. So here relies the importance of follow strategies that benefits everyone. Boeing is still the leader of commercial aviation worldwide, but there are going to pass several years before a new model of an airplane is released. And PS, aviation is still the safest way to travel, statistically speaking. Thank you very much for your time. If you have any question or thoughts, please leave it at the YouTube channel and they will be addressed as soon as possible. Thank you and have a great weekend.